Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Live at 4 on this Wednesday. Amanda Quintana is in for Susan Simon, who's on vacation.
Yes, happy to be here.
Welcome back.
Yeah, I was just here a couple weeks ago.
I know.
Feels good. I like Live
Good.
at 4.
I'm glad you're here. It's nice having you. Busy news day today, and here's what's making news. A second University of Wisconsin football receiver is facing suspension. Sports Director Jay Wilson will be here to explain why.
And the governor tours the flooded portions of Dane County by helicopter. Keely Arthur has that story.
And the latest Charles Franklin Marquette poll shows two tight statewide races. Jessica Arp has those numbers. What a perfect day today.
Especially compared to the last few days.
Yeah,
it is really perfect out there.
Let's take a look outside. This is a Sky 3 video from Belleville where residents are returning to their homes after waters from the Sugar River spilled over the dam late last night. Water everywhere.
That video is crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Kind of unbelievable.
One more dry day, that is the good news, and we welcome Dana Fulton to the News 3 meteorological staff. She's joining us from the backyard patio. Perfect day to make your debut.
Absolutely. Actually, I had to run out the studio and try to spend a little more time out on the patio if I could. Good afternoon, everyone. Of course, we've seen a lot of rain already this week, but the good news right now, as you can see behind me, no rain. And as we take a little higher look for us from the WISC Skycam, a mostly clear sky right now. Just a few clouds, but otherwise really spending a beautiful afternoon outside for us. As we look at our visible cloud track, you can see just a few clouds moving over the southern edge of Wisconsin. Nothing of note really there. Same goes for our Doppler radar. No rain for us today. That's always good news. We'll stay dry at least through the rest of our Wednesday. No rain knocking on the door for Thursday either. Temps are currently in the 70s, about 75 in Madison, closer to 77 in Janesville. And as we take a little step out right now, most of the Midwest is sitting in a very comfortable spot, with our dew points actually in a very great place as well. Not only are we in the 70s, but with those dew points in the 40s right now, about 49 in Madison, it feels very comfortable outside. Overall, looking ahead to that Thursday, as I mentioned, no rain knocking on the door for us. We'll be in the 50s tomorrow morning and then back in the 70s for our highs tomorrow afternoon. So it'll be another great day that we can enjoy outside. I want to take a quick look at what's going on our roadways right now. Of course, our first alert traffic situation. We've had a lot of road closures over the last few days. Downtown Madison right now, a few spots slowing down just a little bit. No major reports, though, in that direction. Overall, the focus still, of course, as we look towards the western side of Madison, Middleton out west there on 14, still closed at this time. So we'll continue to keep a close eye on that area. Janesville to the Beltline takes you about 28 minutes. If you're going to Sauk City to Middleton, it'll take you about 18, and then Sun Prairie to downtown, about 17 minutes at this time. Of course, the road's starting to get a little busier as it's just after 4 o'clock. We'll take a closer look at traffic and, of course, weather as we head through the rest of the week in just a few minutes.
All right. Thank you so much, Dana. And again, welcome.
Thanks.
We'll talk to you more later on, okay?
Sounds good.
All right, thank you. First at 4, another University of Wisconsin football player has been suspended for possible off-field violations.
This comes on the heels of sexual assault charges filed against receiver Quintez Cephas. Sports Director Jay Wilson joins us with the latest developments.
Yeah, all happening just 9 days before the first game of the season. Badgers head football coach Paul Christ announced today that Danny Davis has been suspended for the first 2 games of the 2018 football season. Christ says based on the information he has at this time, Davis has been suspended for games against Western Kentucky and New Mexico. Christ adds that if more information becomes available, he'll reevaluate the length of that suspension.
This isn't the first time, that I've suspended someone, and I think that there are standards that you want to uphold to, and I think that's okay. I think that's good. And when it doesn't, then you have to take actions. It's the most strict one that I've done to this point, and certainly feel that it's appropriate.
Davis will be allowed to continue to practice but won't be able to play on the first 2 games of the Badger football season. Of course, Davis's teammate Quintez Cephas will make his first court appearance tomorrow, facing charges of 2nd and 3rd degree sexual assault. Cephas is suspended from games and practices. So obviously this story will continue for quite some time.
Pretty serious charges pending.
Indeed.
All right, Jay, thank you. The Dane County Medical Examiner has released the identity of the Madison man who was swept away by the flash floodwaters Monday night. 70-year-old James Sewell was reported missing to authorities around 9 o'clock. There were 3 people trapped in a stranded car, but only 2 made it to land near Chapel Hill and Regis Roads. Bystanders assisted the 3 people out of the car, but only 2 were pulled to safety. Sewell's body was found the next morning.
Water levels on the Madison lakes have been steadily increasing over the past 24 hours, and county officials are anticipating flooding over the next several days. Water levels are expected to increase downstream of Lake Mendota, potentially rising another 3 to 6 inches over the next 24 hours in places along Lakes Mendota, Wabisa, and Kaganza. Governor Scott Walker took a tour of the flood damage by helicopter today. He held a news conference with emergency officials this afternoon to discuss the devastation. Our Keely Arthur was there and joins us live from hard-hit Mazomanie. Keely.
That's right. Walker took his aerial tour this morning, but he says he'll be here on foot tomorrow surveying the damage in Mazomanie. And boy, there is still a lot of it. Now, Walker declared a state of emergency on Tuesday. Today, he gave a heartfelt thank you to the first responders who've tirelessly worked to rescue and comfort the people affected by the flooding. He went on to say that priority number 1 is safety, and right after that is recovery. He wants to focus on rebuilding Highway 14 and the other damaged roads as quickly as possible.
That's going to be a priority for us. This is something we've done in the past. In fact, earlier this summer, we had a number of state highways that were compromised because of flooding in northern Wisconsin along the Lake Superior Basin. And the Department of Transportation took aggressive action early on to do emergency contracts. We'll be looking at that.
Now, Walker says that the city of Mazomanie and federal funds will not necessarily get here because it's unclear if it has reached that level of devastation. But the city and the state will provide funding to these people who are very in need. And anyone who wants to report flooding damage is told to call 211.
All right, thank you so much, Keely.
A 20-year-old Janesville woman is facing reckless homicide charges after allegedly killing her boyfriend last night. Serena Stone accused of stabbing her boyfriend, Robert Thomas Jr., in the chest in the parking lot of a Janesville apartment complex shortly after midnight. It's the first homicide in Janesville in 2018, and police say they're working with the family of the victim.
Our concerns and prayers go out to the Thomas family. And I can tell you that we have assigned a detective as a liaison to the family to help them through these tough moments.
Police say Stone and Thomas knew each other well before yesterday and have dated. No date has been set for Stone's court appearance. Well, the first Marquette Law School poll of the general election is out, and we are looking at some very competitive races in the fall.
Political reporter Jessica Arp has the latest numbers out just this afternoon.
Well, yeah, the top of the ticket races for governor and U.S. Senate we are seeing tonight are going to be close ones. In the race for governor, incumbent Republican Scott Walker and Democratic State Superintendent of Public Instruction Tony Evers are tied at 46% among voters who say they are likely to vote in November. Libertarian candidate Phil Anderson gets 6% and just 2%.
Not 99.
Not 99%. That's wrong. Yeah, that's correct. And just 2% say they don't know. All of this is within the margin of error of 4.5%. Among registered voters, Walker leads Evers 46 to 44%, with Anderson getting 7%. In pre-primary polling, Walker led Evers 48 to 46%. But close watchers of this poll and Wisconsin politics might note these numbers look a lot like 2014.
I think close races at this time of the year, we've seen them before. And the question is, how does it play out over the campaign as both sides have to make their cases and we find out which one's more persuasive?
Franklin says the challengers in both this race and the one for U.S. Senate got a bit of a bump following the primary. In that race for U.S. Senate, also close, incumbent Democratic Senator Tammy Baldwin leads Republican State Senator Leah Vukmir 49 to 47%, with only 3% undecided. That's also within the margin of error. That gap gets a bit wider when you look at all registered voters polled, with Baldwin leading Vukmir 51 to 43%. That's outside of that 4% margin of error. This is our first look, though, at the head-to-head race for Senate. Poll results also show that Republicans seem to be gaining some enthusiasm about this election. 69% of Republicans say they are enthusiastic about voting in this election. In the midterms, so do 68% of Democrats. This is the first time Republican enthusiasm has surpassed Democrats. And when Charles Franklin talked about this after the poll, he said it wasn't necessarily a substantial increase in enthusiasm, and this goes up and down as we sort of move our way towards November.
But those undecided numbers are astonishing.
They're very, very small, and I think when it's really going to be, they looked at a number of issues, as it is not surprising, education comes out ahead amongst a lot of the issues, the most important to voters, and when you have the state superintendent running against the governor in this race, both who are essentially calling themselves the education governor, it's going to be interesting as we move ahead, but that issue might define those 2%-ish or so, but it's not a very big group of them out there.
And Charles will be with us tomorrow here on Live at 4 to go over some more of these numbers.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jess. Well, the fallout continues after Tuesday's developments in the Michael Cohen and Paul Manafort cases. Mola Lenghi tells us how lawmakers and the White House are reacting.
White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders faced questions about the two men close to President Trump now guilty of felonies.
The president did nothing wrong. There are no charges against him.
Mr. Trump's former personal attorney, Michael Cohen, took a plea deal Tuesday, and a jury found former campaign chairman Paul Manafort guilty on tax fraud charges.
It's not a good day for the president.
Cohen's attorney, Lanny Davis, told CBS This Morning if Mr. Trump was not the president, he'd be indicted. Cohen said Mr. Trump directed him to make hush payments to two women in advance of the 2016 election.
It's not about evidence. It is definitive, indisputable, that Donald Trump's lawyers said in a letter to the special counsel that President Trump directed, the same word that Michael Cohen used in court yesterday under oath, directed Michael Cohen to make illegal payments.
The developments come as President Trump faces a potential Democratic takeover of Congress this fall, but lawmakers are reluctant to discuss impeachment.
Every single remedy, including indictment of the president, should be on the table.
President Trump tweeted that Cohen's violations are not a crime and that I feel very badly for Paul Manafort. Such respect for a brave man. The president's reaction has some wondering if he plans to pardon Manafort.
A pardon in this circumstance would be perceived by many Americans as, interfering with an investigation.
Democrats want Judge Brett Kavanaugh's Supreme Court confirmation halted, saying if he joins the high court, he may have a role in determining the legal fate of the president who nominated him. Mola Lenghi, WISC News 3.
And Michael Cohen will face sentencing on December 12th. Paul Manafort will endure another trial, this time in a Washington, D.C. federal court, and that starts next month.
There's more to come on Live at 4. There's potential trouble in paradise.
A Category 4 hurricane is threatening Hawaii. We'll have the latest on the storm's path when Live at 4 continues. Welcome back. The undocumented immigrant accused of kidnapping and killing an Iowa co-ed had his first court appearance today.
24-year-old Christian Bahina Rivera showed no expression when he faced an Iowa judge for the murder of Molly Tibbetts. Rivera, an undocumented immigrant from Mexico, is charged with first-degree murder. His attorney asked the court to ban the media from covering the court proceeding, insisting Rivera cannot receive a fair trial. Tibbetts vanished on July 18th while jogging in Brooklyn, Iowa.
Stocks were mixed on Wall Street, with tech stocks leading the pack. The Dow Industrials fell 88 points, closing at 25,733. The tech-heavy NASDAQ Composite Index gained nearly 30, but the S&P 500 lost a point. Hurricane Lane, a strong Category 4 storm, is barreling toward the Hawaiian Islands. People across the islands are stocking up on water, food, and supplies ahead of the hurricane. Hurricane Lane is packing sustained winds already hitting nearly 155 miles per hour. The storm center is tracking to possibly make landfall Thursday or Friday. Some stretches of the coastline could see 25-foot waves. Officials warn the storm could be life-threatening. Several airlines are issuing travel advisories and waiving changing fees for customers flying to or from Hawaii. Well, the floodwaters in Dane County continue to recede, but now home and business owners are facing an even bigger challenge, paying for restoration and repairs.
Does insurance cover flood damage? Ty Leverty with the UW School of Business and an expert on property liability insurance is here to talk a little bit about that.
Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit, do a lot of people have flood insurance?
So a recent survey by the Insurance Information Institute indicated about 14% of Americans have flood insurance, but in the Midwest it's actually lower at 8%. So very few people.
And you have to live in a certain area in order to qualify for flood insurance.
That's correct. You have to live in what is designated as a floodplain.
And Madison?
Many areas of Madison are in that category.
So is it thought that a lot of the people that were affected by this might be out of luck?
That's correct. So the standard homeowners insurance policy does not cover flood. So if they did not get the National Flood Insurance Protection, then they are unfortunately out of luck.
Wow.
So if let's say your basement got flooded and your $5,000 furnace is ruined, your SOL?
Well, so again, if you have the National Flood Insurance Protection, you'll be covered, but if you do not, you won't have coverage.
And it seems like a lot of people wouldn't think they need to sign on for that extra insurance.
So that is one of the major explanations for why people don't have it, is they don't think they need it, or they actually think that the homeowners insurance that they bought covers it. But you need a special policy to get flood coverage.
And what does it cost? I mean, is it very expensive?
No, it's not, because it is partially subsidized through the federal government. And so the rates are supposed to be risk-based, but they're actually a little bit less than that in most areas. And so from a risk perspective, it is not unaffordable.
And you get it from your own insurance, or you have to go through the government? Where do you get it?
So this is where the things get very interesting. It is a government program, but the private insurers administer it. So you would go through your insurance company to do this. So if you have an American Family Insurance, you'd go through your American Family agent.
I went the flood insurance rider or whatever?
Yes.
Or they're completely separate policies?
They're completely separate policies.
Is this similar with businesses? Do a lot of businesses sign up for this too?
So most commercial property insurance contracts do not cover flood, and you have to get it again through the National Flood Insurance Program.
How do you find out if you're living in an area that you qualify?
Oh, so that's great. There's flood maps that are available through the National Flood Insurance Program that will tell you whether you are in that plane. And I imagine when you purchase your house, your bank would tell you whether or not you're in the floodplain, because they would like to protect their collateral.
Yeah, it protects their investment.
That's right.
Investment as well. Well, it's interesting. So even if the rain's coming in through the roof, it's not flooding from from the ground.
So any water is going to be excluded. It's a pretty broad exclusion.
Wow.
Well,
that's so
good to know, I guess.
Yes.
If you didn't get flooded, maybe you want to think about it.
Yes, I think more Americans probably should be thinking about buying flood insurance.
All right, good advice. Thank you.
Thank you for
Great
being here.
information. And we'll be right back. Stay with us. Well, take a look at this. The Little Rock Police Department just released surveillance video of a helicopter crash that injured the pilot. It happened at the department's training facility. The pilot was doing a test run of new equipment when the chopper violently flipped over due to straight line winds. That is scary.
Terrifying.
And look at the guy standing there. He's telling him,
Right.
get out of the way.
Wow.
All right. Dana Fulton is here. Welcome to News 3, your first day on the air.
Yes, yes. I've been creeping around behind the scenes for the last few days. They finally let me in front of the camera.
Learning the computers and all that stuff?
Yes, yes.
You come to us from South
Carolina. So originally from Illinois, though, central Illinois. So this is back in the Midwest, back home for me. Yes, but I spent a few years in South Carolina and out in Oregon. So I've seen both coasts. It's nice to be back.
Back in the heartland.
Yes,
So winter's not going to be a shock to you?
No, not at all. I'll be totally fine. I did order my new parka yesterday. I'm really excited about that.
You're getting ready.
Yes, I am. I know it's only August, but I'm ready.
You never know around here.
Exactly.
It happened overnight. Well, it is Wednesday, August 22nd. It's National Be an Angel Day. It's a day to encourage people to perform random acts of kindness and to help those in need.
That should be every day.
It should be every day. It should be every day.
It's also National Tooth Fairy Day. The tradition of getting money or a gift from some mythical fairy after losing a tooth started in the U.S., but is based on medieval European superstition.
What's the going rate these days?
I got a quarter, and I know that's not the right.
I think we got it.
I used to get like actual gifts. I got a scooter once.
A scooter?
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know how my mom put a scooter.
Our director gives her 4-year-old daughter $5.
$5?
That's pretty good.
I would start pulling teeth
I'll
out right
lose a
now.
couple of teeth. Nicole?
It's also National Eat a Peach Day. August is the peak season for peaches, which are native to the northwest China. The trees were introduced to the U.S. in the 17th century. And fun fact, South Carolina is actually the largest producer of peaches in the U.S.
And more fun fact, sports guy Kevin Lewis.
How?
There you go.
Oh.
Amanda wants you to bite one through.
These have been on the floor.
Yeah, I don't.
You should keep doing that until the 9.
Insects and things on the floor, like every other floor.
Yeah,
like every other floor.
This carpeting here, the dogs, the pigs we've had on here.
Oh, yeah.
So.
All right, Kevin, thank you.
Hey, no, okay.
Peachy.
You got to walk
Keep
away.
it peachy.
There he goes.
I'm going to do it.
Right into the
Thank you.
Oh, my gosh.
Get out of here. All right, another nice day coming up.
Absolutely. So today was fantastic, a great day to kind of dry up a little bit for those of us swimming in our backyards, if you would. Here's a beautiful live shot for us right now. Just a few clouds in the sky. Welcome back, everyone. Finally, a dry day for us and a lot of sunshine to help us dry up quite a bit. We're actually watching the water recede for the northern portion of Sugar River. We did actually have a flood warning near Belleville. The good news there, that warning has been canceled. Our focus has kind of shifted a little more towards Greene and Rock counties. In that direction, they do have another flood warning that has been issued. So the southern end, if we look towards the southern edge of the Sugar River. So that's the portion right now where the water is continuing to go up. On the other hand, Belleville, of course, going back down. The sunshine is helping us out just a little bit. We have a live look right now from our WISC sky cam. A few clouds in the sky, but otherwise a beautiful day. Visible cloud track kind of showing that off just a little bit. No major concerns, just a few clouds building in this afternoon. And that's kind of the trend that we're going to enjoy for the next few hours as well. Radar stays nice and calm, and it has been calm for the last few hours. So if you've been able to get outside and enjoy it, I'm sure you've had a wonderful Wednesday so far. That'll be the plan for this evening. Temperature-wise, we are close to 76 up in the Dells, but 75 in Madison, down near Janesville, about 77. So we're all sitting in the similar boat together. And then that's not just southern Wisconsin. That stretches through much of the Midwest this time. Now, temperatures, of course, only half the story. The other half, of course, are dew points right now. Very comfortable outside. Seeing a dew point of about 49 degrees in Madison. That's fantastic. Of course, when we start to see it creep in the upper 60s and 70s, that's when it feels a little sticky, and that's kind of what we've seen the last few days. So enjoy this dry weather, this drier air moving in, and how comfortable it is outside for us. So this drier air will be staying with us for just a little bit longer. Compared to this time about 24 hours ago, that dew point has dropped just a little bit. Looking at about a 12-degree difference for us in Madison, if we can get back to that. There we go. Doppler track so far mostly clear again, and that's stretching throughout Wisconsin, throughout the Midwest. No real rain concerns, a little bit down towards Kansas, but that's all. So here it is, our 24-hour change for our dew points. A little cooler, a little drier for us in Madison. That goes from Chicago all the way down to St. Louis. So this drier air is stretching through Wisconsin and Illinois. Our temperatures today also in the 70s. In Madison, that's kind of where we're sitting at right now. Overall, that's below average by quite a bit for us. Actually should be sitting a little warmer as we look at our almanac here. About 79 are average temps here towards Madison. About 75 though right now, as we just saw. Overall, our little northwest breeze is coming in at 10 miles per hour. It's going to shift though as we trend overnight. That's really our only major shift for us, becoming a little more southwest. Overnight lows will be chilly yet again. I had to grab the jacket this morning, and I say that with a smile on my face. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Mostly clear and fairly pleasant. It'll be about 54 early tomorrow morning. By tomorrow afternoon, though, we're in the upper 70s. 77 our high for the day, so a little closer to average for tomorrow. Again, you see that nice rotation there off towards the edge of Nebraska. That's where our high pressure is centered, sending us that northwest breeze right now. It is going to shift just a little bit, but that high, of course, keeping us high and dry and mostly clear as we look ahead. 75 currently overnight. Our wind shifts, but we stay clear. As we fast forward through Thursday, things stay mostly calm. It's not really until Friday that our next opportunity for showers is going to creep in. Because of that, we actually do have an alert day for Friday at this time. We may see some heavier rainfall with those stronger thunderstorms moving on in. Some isolated strong thunderstorms may pop up. Right now, though, that potential just something we're keeping an eye on. Precipitation totals as we head towards Saturday will land anywhere from 1 to 2 inches for just isolated areas, but it's not going to be, again, a major rain event for us. That's just something that we're keeping an eye on for Friday. We'll get that forecast up for you guys in just a quick second. Again, we do have a full alert day in for us for Friday. We are going to keep an eye on what's ahead for us as we head into this weekend. Overall temperatures for the next few days. There we go. 77 the high for Thursday. We watch our temps warm up heading into the weekend following that alert day, and we stay hot and humid through the weekend and into the start of next week.
The last thing we need is more rain.
I know, but that's something that we're going to be keeping an eye on. Again, our severe potential does stay pretty low for us on Friday at this time. It looks like the threat is going to stay closer to more Illinois and Iowa, but we are going to keep a close eye on it, and that's why we just have the alert day in place so everyone can stay weather aware as we head towards Friday.
And South Carolina weather next week.
I know. It's going to be hot and sticky yet again. So enjoy this afternoon, this evening, and of course, enjoy tomorrow as well.
All right. Again, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, well, here's a bargain for lovers of Olive Garden restaurant chain. I am one of them, I'll say. Fortune says Olive Garden's all-you-can-eat pasta pass goes on sale tomorrow.
The Italian restaurant chain will sell $100 passes that are good for 8 weeks of unlimited pasta, breadsticks, salad, and soup. 23,000 passes are available. Last year, they sold out in 1 second. And if you really like pasta, there are also 1,000 52-week passes selling for $300.
That's a lot of pasta.
Get on that, Amanda.
Well, do you have trouble picking out your clothes in the morning?
There's an easy answer to this problem. Just jump to it.
At this Brooklyn art space, they never have to choose an outfit again. I'm Hannah Doba, and I'll explain why everyone is wearing a jumpsuit.
Here's a live look at Lake Mendota shoreline. A lot of piers underwater as the water continues to rise in the Yahara Lakes. Keep an eye on that. Well, if you're tired of all the clothes in your closet, this outfit might grab you.
A universal jumpsuit designed to fit every body type and maybe even fix society. Hannah Doba visited a Brooklyn office where the color is blue.
The staff at this Brooklyn art space never worries about what to wear. They zip on the same blue jumpsuits every day. Laura Patak says the dress code has transformed the workplace.
Everyone, from interns to the most senior staff members suddenly wearing the same outfit every day. And it just changes how you relate to each other in this very inexplicable and fundamental way.
The jumpsuit project is the brainchild of two artists. Abigail Glom-Lathbury and Maura Brewer have been wearing theirs every day for 4 years.
How much easier has that made your life?
It was so much easier.
Immeasurably.
Customers can download a pattern and sew their own, or order them online for $200. They've been sold around the world, even for weddings. And with 248 sizes, they're designed to suit all body types.
Our bodies don't fit neatly into standardized sizes because we're not standardized bodies.
There's a philosophy behind it too, to erase gender and class differences and form a universal bond.
For us, the idea that you could think in a radically different way about clothes, like a garment that could bring people together instead of separating them, has been really important.
And there's no more anxiety over choosing an outfit.
How hard is it going to be when this project is over and you go back to your wardrobe?
I don't think I'm going to be able to go back.
Patak says it feels like she's wearing an artwork every day, and she's not planning to stop anytime soon. Anna Doba, CBS News, Brooklyn.
Interesting.
I couldn't do it.
No, I couldn't either.
No, you need to express yourself.
Absolutely.
Well, the designers say the jumpsuit project will continue until it raises enough money for a full-page ad in Vogue, and an ad they plan to use to pay tribute to their mothers. That's pretty cool.
There's some good out of it then. All right. Well, there's more to come at 4. Are you in the market for a full-size car? Well, there aren't that many options in the mainstream segment.
But one of them is the Toyota Avalon. We'll see how it stacks up when we go behind the wheel with Harvey Briggs when Live at 4 continues.
Welcome back, everyone. The Beltline right now a little backed up. If you're planning on hopping on in that direction, just understand both eastbound and westbound right now moving a little slow. Also on the other side of town, Middleton all the way on to Spring Green, parts of 14 closed completely. A few different alternative routes that you guys can try to hop on right now because getting through 14 just not an option still. And as we look down towards south of Verona and near Belleville, several road closures in that direction still, as crews are working to pull water off the roadway. So just keep an eye on the road as you're heading out there. And of course, always remember, never drive around those road closure barriers right now. There's still certainly plenty of them throughout the Madison area.
All right, Dana, thank you.
Emil and Dirk of the YouTube channel Master Milo have created a beast. They've attached a rack to the back of this smart car. The rack has chairs, a steering column, and a few other controls to help them do, well, this. That is crazy. They ride this monster until the wheels fall off, and even that does not stop them. Wow.
All right, Harvey, next time. Toyota says the name Avalon is supposed to portray images of comfort, spaciousness, and sophistication.
Well, strangely, the 5th generation of Toyota's flagship sedan is trying to shed that image a little bit. They want the Avalon to appeal to more than just aging baby boomers, to a more sporty crowd. Well, good luck with that.
Which way do we want to go?
Oh, just go down that way, unless you want to go, the road's a little smoother that way.
Okay, let's go the smooth road. Because we're in a smooth
In this
car.
car
We're smooth. You need to play smooth
That's right,
jazz when you drive this car.
The 2019 Toyota Avalon. They call it mid-size, but let's be honest, this is a full-size car competing with the likes of the Chrysler 300, Kia Cadenza, and most directly the Buick LaCrosse. And Toyota means business.
It's really quiet, really comfortable ride. They redid everything for 2019, starting with the platform. This is a version of Toyota's next generation architecture, which adds stiffness, rigidity, quietness to the platform, and it allows them to make the suspension that much more compliant.
They've also completely redesigned the Avalon.
All
It's
right.
a handsome car.
Yeah, it really is.
From the side.
This profile is really nice. You've got that long roof line resolving into the short deck on the rear. You've got really nicely sculpted hood, and then you walk around to the front. And
hello.
Yes, it's a giant grinning grill, and that's part of Toyota's design language. Whether you're talking about the Toyota line or the Lexus line, they have decided that they're going to be bold and daring, and as they say, they want to create something stunning. I think they've succeeded. Styling is subjective. If you like it, buy it. If you don't. There are a lot of options out there.
That grill aside, there is some good news in that nose. Mechanically, all trim levels are powered by a 301 horsepower V6. A hybrid is also available across the board, including our Tester, a top-of-the-line limited. The hybrid option only sets you back $1,000. A lot going on.
Yeah, well, you've got a 4-cylinder gas engine here. You've got your hybrid electric engine here that works sequentially, and it rolls right into the CVT transmission.
And you're not really giving up that much power. And get this, the hybrid gets 44 miles a gallon. You never know. That is astonishing for a car this size and this luxurious.
When you get this limited version, you get the heated and cooled seats. You get all the luxury features you'd expect, even from the next level up, a Lexus, but you're getting it for a lot less money.
But not the prestige. And for some, that's actually a selling point.
There are people out there who want luxury, but don't want everyone to know that they're spending a lot of money. I had a friend, he was a dentist, and he said if he drove a Mercedes, people stopped paying their bills. So he drove a Buick. It's a well put together vehicle. It's an easy to drive vehicle. It's not going to surprise you. It's just a really nice Toyota sedan. It's the kind of car that you get on the freeway, you set the cruise control at 70 miles an hour, and you just let the miles go by. Turn the XM satellite radio on to smooth jazz.
Smooth jazz?
It is smooth.
Oh, very smooth. And
The mileage is honest. I drove this thing up to Mackinac Island and back on 1.5 tanks of gas, 44.5 miles per gallon.
With the hybrid.
With the hybrid.
It starts about 36.
Yep,
For this.
and goes into the mid-40 range. So, you know, by the time you get up there, you're starting to bump into a low-end at Lexus, low-end BMW, some of those.
But this has got everything on it.
Oh, yeah, everything. And that's a decision a lot of people make. Do I want a mainstream car fully loaded, or do I want a luxury car in its entry-level trim? And so that's where this car starts to push.
But they got to appeal to younger people.
Yeah, and they do with their sporty version. That's what they're trying to do. And, you know, we'll see.
I hate to admit it, but I really liked it.
We're not that young anymore.
All right, let's talk about the flooding this week. Hundreds of cars stranded, flooded.
Yes.
Is there any way to save them? Can they be repaired?
Basically, if the flood level didn't come above the seat height, there's a good chance you're going to be able to save your car. You know, you can dry out the interior. You probably have to pull the seats out. May have to replace some electronics that are down low on the car. But the minute it gets above that level and you start to get into the fuse box, higher in the engine compartment, things like that, there are real problems that happen that may not manifest themselves for a few years. So, you know, you can get your car out of the puddle, it'll dry out, you start driving around, it seems fine, but water can corrode electronic parts over time. So if you've been in some flood water, call your insurance agent right away. Even if it starts, call your insurance agent, have them take a look at it.
And driving in it makes it worse.
Don't drive into standing water. I mean, cars are waterproof and you can go through puddles, but if there's real standing water, don't drive through it. The intake ports on some engines are lower than you think, and the minute you pull water into that engine through that system, it's done.
And, you know, down the road on a used car lot, is there something you can look at? Some of these cars are going to be fixed.
That's a challenge right now. A lot of cars that were in the floods in Houston are finding their way back into the market. There are unscrupulous people who wash these titles, sorry, no pun intended, and they find themselves, Chicago actually, a lot of Houston flood cars are appearing in Chicago right now. So there is a database. I forgot to write down the website on my way over here, but yeah, there is a database you can check that that when titles get marked as flood damage, those do go online.
All right, so if your car was underwater, call your insurance agent. First things first.
Yep.
Ridesanddrives.com, all the information on that and the Avalon and all other good stuff.
Lots of other good stuff.
We will see you soon.
Great, thank you.
And we'll be right back with a final check of your forecast. great evening to get outside.
Absolutely. If you can get outdoors, certainly recommend it. Right now, we're sitting in the 70s. This is our high temp for the day, 75 in Madison. Pretty comfortable outside. That's thanks to our dew points, actually, sitting in the upper 40s for us. Of course, when we get in the 60s and 70s, that's when it starts to feel a little sticky. So it'll be at about 49 in Madison. Absolutely perfect. Tomorrow, we'll be back in the 70s, still below average, about 77 for the high, so a little warmer than today, but still wonderfully pleasant outside. 2 dry days for us, both today and tomorrow, so that sunshine, great news for the folks still ringing out from earlier this week.
All right, thank you, Dana. And coming up tomorrow here on Live Before, we'll find out what's happening this weekend in the 608s.
And Charles Franklin from the Marquette Law School poll will be here with the results of his latest poll on the governor's race.
We'll be right back.